Yo, what's going on? Like, comment, subscribe. Here we are.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
Yo, welcome to the Flight Zone. Another edition. Me and Evan are finally back together. It's been a long time. I had Sixers talk. I went to a Sixers game, went to a big move, but Evan and I are back finally together, and we will stay that way. Sorry for the little breakup, but we're back together. No more divorces. Tonight's show is brought to us by Dr. Paul Bedell, Specialized Physical Therapy. Check out our doc. There's 2 locations in Burlington and Cherry Hill. Make them yours today. He's the best doctor around for physical therapy. We have a lot to discuss tonight. Eagles had a draft, just in case anybody is wondering. It was all sunshine and rainbows come day one. We traded up with our division rivals to go past our other division rivals. And we beat out the Giants to get Devontae Smith. And everybody was kumbaya. Howie Roseman is the savior again. Yeah, I don't want to accuse anybody of being a fair weather fan, but the amount of love that Howie Roseman got after that first day is just beyond me. Like, this dude has done nothing but set us back, and I don't ever see us winning again with Howie Roseman. And I feel like this draft just put the stamp on that little argument that he can ever win again in this city. You draft it yet again, another second round project. He's good when he's on the football field, but when is he on the football fild? Like, he seems like he seems like he could be the next Jason Kelsey when healthy, but the dude's had 4 season-ending injuries in college out of 5 college seasons, and he had an injury in his high school senior year. This dude is just injury plagued. Like, this is what day 2 always consists of. You might maybe splash on your round 1 pick. Day 2 comes, and you go for a project. You go for either a project or you go for an injured guy that should have been in the first round. The fact that they did not go after Asante Samuel Jr. or the safety from TCU or Joker, it's just, if you were going to go with the offensive lineman in the second round, you should have went with Micah Parsons in the first and screwed over Dallas. Defense wins championships in this league. Our division is just filled with receivers that we can't guard. We have 1 cornerback. And I know everybody's going to fall in love with the day 3 draft picks, but how often do day 3 draft picks even last? And how good are they? Like, with the exception of Tom Brady. And I know people will throw around Jalen Mills. How good is Jalen Mills? Do you want him being your starting quarterback?
No.
Poll for today. The Eagles will exceed expectations this season. Agree or disagree? Evan?
It really depends on. I mean, it's so mixed within the organization. How, like, what are we expecting then? That's like the real question. Are you expecting more than? Are you expecting a 4-win season? Like, I don't really know. I think they'll have more than. I think they'll have 7 wins.
All right. So you think
yeah. I'm pretty sure around the fan base it's around 4 wins, maybe. Which, I see us winning more than 4 games. I mean, we're not terrible, but
it really depends on.
Jalen Hurts is going to carry. It's all right.
It really depends on number 1, and number 1 is Jalen Hurts. Is Jalen Hurts your franchise quarterback? Or is he going to be what I think he is right now? And I think he is a very athletic football player that can't get past his first read. If his first read is covered, he'll dart outside the pocket. And if you play the right type of defense where you have either a spy on him or you cover the sidelines, is this offense going to score 13 points a game? Like, you could put the greatest offensive line out there. You could put Devontae Smith out there. If your quarterback can't get past the first read or your running back can't stay healthy, another thing that I wanted us to get was a legit running back. And Howie drafted another 5'8" running back that's a little stocky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I really didn't agree with the second round pick. I know I saw like great things from him in college, but come on, dude. We wanted a healthy line and we wanted a young line. So we got a young line. We got a young lineman. We didn't get a healthy lineman. He's had 2 season-ending injuries. Like, I'm surprised this guy didn't tear his ACL as soon as he jumped up when he was drafted. Like, this guy's been hurt so many times, and we want to get healthier, but we're drafting project players like him who you have to depend on their – like, we have bad history with injuries, especially on our front line. So, like –
yeah. And you drafted – yeah.
High risk.
He's injury prone.
Yeah.
Like, high risk, high reward should be it shouldn't really exist in the NFL draft, to be honest. There's so many guys that you can get. There's so many guys that you – especially with the amount of needs that we had, it's just mind-boggling to me that you drafted yet another offensive lineman that's injury prone. Offensive line, to be honest, was maybe third or fourth on my list that what they needed. I think they needed a cornerback, a linebacker, a safety, and then offensive line depth.
Yep.
And then a running back. But I really wanted us to get one of the top 3 running backs. But ATN jumped in the first round. I was expecting ATN to be up there on day 2, but that's neither here nor there. He paired back up with Trevor Lawrence down in Jacksonville. So I think Jacksonville had a hell of a draft.
Yeah,
I think Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, all the wide receiving core, I think they're gonna have a great I think they're gonna be exceeding expectations this year.
Yeah. And they do have already better wide receivers than we do. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah. But like I really hope that we can just stay healthy this year because like Brandon Brooks is coming back. You got Isaac Samalo, like after drafting this guy, I don't know.
I just hope he can be healthy. He tore his ACL in December, so I don't think he'll be ready by September.
Yeah. But I don't think this guy will be either.
Who? Dickerson.
Dickerson, that's it.
Yeah.
He number tore 69.
Hey, that's my favorite part of that draft pick is his number 69. That's about it. That is about it. Like, yeah, he could play. But your offensive line has been depleted over the last 3 seasons. And another thing that got me in this draft is Howie Roseman. The round 3 pick, the Milton pick, when the scout that everybody well-respected scout and Howie's fist pumping, smiling all over the draft room, everybody's kind of like, yeah. And then he finally gets to the head guy of the scouts. And he just has his hands in his pocket, just looking forward, kind of like I do whenever I watch the Eagles or the Phillies.
Yeah.
Just looking ahead. And then he gives Howie a cold shoulder. And then he just puts it out. And then he just shrugs. And Howie's like, what?
He's trying to, like, explain.
Like, he's a literal weasel.
He is. He can't even listen to his own scouts. Like, if you're not going to listen to your scouts, there's no reason to have him.
Yeah.
But he thinks he's the smartest in the room at all times. But at the end of the day, you're not the one going to camps. You're not the one going to senior days. Yeah. Those are the guys that are really doing the work.
And the one thing that I'm really just baffled about, and it goes back to this question by BJ, who do you guys think is better, Hurts or Carson? It's obviously Carson Wentz. You had a guy just 3 years ago that was the 3rd best football player according to his coworkers, according to his colleagues. And you couldn't build around him for 2.5 years, 3 years. And then finally, when you get rid of him, you replace him with a guy that you overdrafted in the 2nd round, and you did everything you possibly can to help out this guy. Why couldn't you do that with the guy 2.5 years ago? And I know I'm bitching about the past and I can't change it, but it's just so frustrating because you won a Super Bowl 2 years into Carson Wentz's tenure here. Carson Wentz had a huge part in it. I know he didn't win the Super Bowl, and that's what all the Nick Foles lovers will say, but it's just mind-boggling that this guy can get off the hook, and it's mind-boggling that he still has a job after everything he's done over the past 3 years. And it's obviously Carson Wentz.
And mind everybody who's watching, like Howie wasn't, he had no power as a GM back a couple of years ago before we won the Super Bowl. He had he had no power within the organization. Like they were talking about, like Jason Kelsey is probably like looking back at that and saying, "Damn, why did I say that about Howie? Howie's like the best GM in football and all this." He was just blowing smoke. It was just the heat of the moment, but he's really not. It's not even close. Like it's so dumb when you can't even take your scout's like side on things. Like you can't trust that your scout isn't wanting to get the best for the team, and you just think you're the smartest in the room. That never works.
Yeah.
That won't work.
Well, the QB factory comment, it's a little interesting because they did pick up an undrafted free agent, but I don't know. It's just they did everything they possibly can, which is a good thing because that's probably the best thing that they could have done with the situation that they put themselves in was build around Jalen, do everything you can to help out Jalen. But at the end of the day, you're not going anywhere with the defense that you have with Avonte Maddox being your second corner. Like, are we really doing this right now? Are we really doing this again?
I don't want to. I can't.
It's just
Maddox was good for like half a season.
Yeah.
He got hurt, and then he's never the same. Like, I feel like it's just injuries all around. Like, we're so injury plagued, and then we try to return these players, and they're just not the way they used to be.
Yeah.
With the exception of Brandon Brooks, who keeps coming back pretty stronger, but it's like every year for him. Yeah. I'm surprised that we didn't actually trade him during the draft to like a team like the Chiefs. I mean, you could have got a first round pick for him, I bet. I mean, coming off a tear, ACL tear, or no, was it Achilles? Maybe it was one of those. But you probably would have got a pretty good pick for that. And he's aging, and if you're really looking to rebuild, that's a move you would have made.
Yeah,
and Ertz, but
it is what it is. And Eric, it was a setup. This organization is such a mess. It's probably the worst organization in the city. I just want to say that because the Flyers, they at least have young talent on the way, and they can easily fix their mistakes if they just sign an enforcer and sign a few veteran defenders. And just like that, they're right back into contention.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of people were overreacting with how bad their season was. They just Chuck Fletcher needs to step up this offseason. I think he will, and I think they'll be right back at it next season. But that's enough Flyers talk until then. Anyway, going back to the point, the Eagles are the worst franchise in this city right now. The Sixers are clearly the best. I have the Phillies higher than the Eagles, just because
fair enough.
They have the star power that the Philadelphia Eagles don't, and they have more young talent. I'll still consider
it's sad because you hadn't drafted one of the best wide receivers you can, and then the Phillies, they don't even like they have I think 2 of the top 100 prospects.
Yeah. Don got the best.
We have absolutely nobody. We have absolutely nobody in our farm system.
Oh yeah, no. And the Phillies are still on a better track, just because I like Dombrowski more than I like Howie and. Don got the best player in the draft, Penei Sewell. Yeah. Penei Sewell is going to be a monster for you guys. He's going to be taking out kneecaps. But Red Sand. We got a McNabb lover and a Wentz hater right here. His entire career, we put nothing around him. The one year we go to the Super Bowl. Just what we do. Shake my head. I mean, McNabb had a top 5 defense almost every single time he was playing healthy. That's why they made it to 4 NFC Championship games, 5 NFC Championship games. He had Brian Westbrook, and he always had a stable, healthy offensive line. The only thing they never did was put receivers around him. But he always had 2 solid tight ends. I mean, in my opinion, McNabb was put in a better situation than Carson, and it's not even close.
Last year, you think of all time?
Yeah. Carson had 1 year where he had everybody clicking around him.
I feel like that Eagles defense
playing against a last place schedule
was one of the best we've seen. I mean,
Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills were the corners, and I know they were solid. They were solid players, but that defensive line was the main reason why we succeeded that well that year. And Malcolm Jenkins, Rodney McLeod, but that defense doesn't even touch McNabb's defense, not even close.
I mean, they do have B-Doc, and we had Malcolm Jenkins, so
yeah.
There's not really a comparison, but yeah.
I mean, they also had Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown.
Yep.
It all starts with the cornerbacks on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was funny because like Tom was saying, we put out our own mock drafts, and Tom was saying, why are you guys so high on Horn? And Horn went 8, and I think we had him 12 and 8 or something like that. Like we both had him. I had him, I think, going after Surtain or something like that. I don't even know. I remember, but I had like Trey Lance. I had Trey Lance going to the 49ers. I knew that.
Dude, I was shocked. I didn't know that was going to happen.
I don't know.
I thought for sure it was going to be Mac Jones. What's up, Jake? 4-5 win team. So let's just set this for the poll. Let's say the expectations are 6 wins. So if you think they're going to have less than 6 wins, you obviously disagree to the poll. If you think they're going to have more than 6 wins, you're going to agree to the poll. I think they're going to have 6, 7 wins. So I'm right in the middle. It really depends on how Jalen Hurts plays, and it really depends on if they pick up a Steve Nelson because you still don't have a corner. I know people are in love with the 4th round pick from Texas Tech. His name's escaping me right now, but people are in love with that. He already had an Eagles jersey, which was kind of weird.
Yeah,
but
he already had one on.
Yeah, because originally he was at Penn State and he just wasn't good at Penn State, and that's why they let him go, and then he ended up going to Texas Tech. Sorry, I was reading Don's state. I thought he confused me for a sec. But the 4th round pick. Apparently, people are saying he could step right in and be the starter. Do you really trust that the 4th round pick can step in and be a starter, especially when you have to go against CeeDee Lamb,
Zach McPherson?
Zach McPherson, that's his name.
Yep,
it's not Zach. Zach.
Yep.
You think he could step right up? You think he could cover Michael Gallup? Huh?
I remember hearing his name at the draft and was like, "Oof." Yeah. But the draft was pretty crazy when we drafted Smith. Like there was a couple Eagles fans that were going crazy. Like I wasn't expecting them to actually like get a deal done and move up because just how slow Howie is in the brain. I thought honestly we were gonna end up drafting like I thought we were gonna move back honestly.
Yeah. People are saying Deshaun Watson, Steve Nelson, Casey Hayward, trade options like J.C. Jackson. I mean, yeah, but J.C. Horn, I watched his tape, watched him play a few games. I see Jalen Ramsey in him. I think come 2 years, he's going to be a top 5 cornerback in the league. Yep. I think Surtain has the possibility of becoming a bust. It's just the Alabama game, the Alabama corners. Yeah, you had it's probably DBU, them at LSU. I just have a bad feeling about Surtain, and I'm glad we didn't take Surtain. I would have much rather had Horn or Parsons. But they decided to take 2 offensive players in the first 2 rounds, which is just a disgrace with how many holes we needed to fill on this team.
I honestly think we'll never get a linebacker in the first 2 rounds ever again under Howie Roseman. I just feel like that's not what he wants.
Yeah.
And then you just rely on like the last picks of the draft, and you get a Nate Gary. Like that's literally what you're hoping to get. Like
I mean, they're saying the one linebacker from LSU, Jacoby Stevens. They're saying he's basically Davion Taylor, only he knows how to play football. So if that's the case, you drafted a 6th round talent in the 3rd round last year. If that's what you're saying.
No,
the entire point of this whole I hate talking Eagles. This past season has just like caused me to just hate talking about them because I don't want to be Mr. Negative. I used to be such an optimistic fan, and then these just last 3 years, it's just turned me into just this. It's just a disgrace. And we also will have live Sixers reaction throughout the night. They are playing the Bulls. It's 46-31 right now, halfway through the 2nd quarter. We'll talk about my boy Ben in a little bit. coming up large last night, in the words of.
Coming up large with 5 points.
Hey,
me out there. I'll score more than
game-winning layup. Game-winning layup. We'll save that for another time. What's up, Frank? I'd be surprised if we exceed expectations. I just see this as with growing pains in Sirianni's first year. I don't know. I don't know, Frank. I'm praying that there's some meaningful football this year come December, come January.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to Bill's statement because Bill was defending me come draft night when Tom and I were getting into it about Dickerson's pick in the second round. We are in a rebuild. It starts with replacing players with young starters, not rotational players. That was my exact point on draft night. I saw Landon
roasted. I saw you for a little bit.
I saw Landon Dickerson as a rotational piece, as a piece that isn't going to fill in right away. And if he does, and he does play 17 games this year, I'll be damned. I'll be so happy that I was wrong. I wouldn't be happier because that means he was efficient, effective, and the second round pick was great. But I just don't see a guy who's had season-ending injuries 4 out of 5 years in college.
It's
like
bad.
It's terrible. Pick 37 was a disgrace. Anything but a center that has 4 season-ending injuries. A quarterback, linebacker, safety. Fucking organization is a joke. And so are the guys justifying the pick. Bill and Tom were getting – well, Tom was really getting heated at Bill on draft night when we drafted Dickerson. Bill had – I don't see anything wrong with Bill's statement. He's just being a realist.
Yeah.
This
and
organization
you drafted 3 linemen last year.
Yes.
You drafted 3 linemen.
You drafted you traded up 2 years ago to get your left tackle so that Jason Peters can finally retire. And Jason Peters is still here because that left tackle is emotionally soft. I'm sorry, Ralph. Yeah. I know Dillard's your boy, but he's soft.
He is. You
have a freaking rugby player that hasn't played football ever that got drafted in the 7th round that people are saying play over your first round pick that you traded up for. Mm-hmm. Like, what are we doing with this organization? Anybody that justifies what this organization does when it's an iffy call, I never want to question Tommy's football knowledge. I don't. But him justifying this pick is just outrageous.
It is.
It's outrageous.
It is outrageous. I agree, Jamie. Like, when I sent the group text, I was like, "Are you serious?" I heard I was just so dumbfounded, and I just don't get. Like I said earlier, we wanted the young group that stays healthy, and we're not going to get that. Even Driscoll and what was the other one on the right side last?
Prince or Driscoll? Yeah, Driscoll who was from Auburn. You had Prince who was from Auburn. You had Herbig, the guard.
They couldn't stay healthy either.
Yeah,
they had injuries. They were in and out, just like Jason Peters, every fucking game.
Yeah.
I really hope this guy. I hope he pans out. I feel like everyone gets it confused. We hope these guys pan out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But they usually don't.
I don't have a favorite in this town, but when the Eagles are successful, I'm in such a better mood. I'm in such a better mood come November, December, January, February. January could be the worst freaking month of the year. But if the Eagles are still in playoff football, January flies.
Yep.
Next thing you know, it's almost March. It's almost March Madness. If the Eagles continue to play throughout January, make it to the Super Bowl, you're right into college basketball season come February.
Yep.
When the Eagles are good, it makes my life better. It makes everybody's life better.
Yep.
Yeah, Dom, we were just saying, they took 3 offensive linemen last year that had potential that everybody was justifying. I don't know.
Jeez.
The real fuego is Jonathan. He comes on the show every once in a while. And then he also said, I think Hector Nervous just closed out a game, 5-out save. So
good.
Props to Hector Nervous. He didn't pull a Jose Alvarado or a.
That was so fucking funny. That sucks. 3 game suspension for that?
Well, who blew it yesterday? It was Kinsler and Alvarado gave up 6 runs in the 8th.
Yeah. Wait, I thought Alvarado got suspended.
He appealed it. He appealed it, so he's allowed to play until the appeal is like done. So
yeah. I don't know what we're gonna do, Jimmy, with these Eagles.
Oh, he's going. I'm going to put out the Phillies right now. I've been watching the Sixers, but
he's definitely. Oh no! What? You can't be serious.
Like he's in the middle of the 5-out save. I'm assuming.
It's now
right now. I mean,
fuck, dude.
What do we expect? It's the same old Phillies issues with the bullpen. Did you? Not to mention that home run yesterday. That home run that was called back. Like the Mets were literally. I know we screwed ourselves those two games.
Oh yeah.
But the umpires really screwed us out of that series.
Yeah.
2 straight days with controversial calls. Are you kidding me right now? Against a division rival like the Mets?
Yeah. And these games like this, these are gonna matter when it comes down to like the last few. Like it's gonna come within 5 games.
Yeah.
And each one of these, you're gonna look back and say,
"It's important."
Holy shit!
Everybody's 500, or just slightly below 500, or slightly above 500.
Dude, the NFC, or the NL East is literally the NFC East this year. It's really looking like that.
I mean, everybody's beating up on each other.
Yeah.
Everybody in the league is beating up on each other, to be honest, with the exception of a few teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have the Athletics who are rolling, Royals who are rolling. You got a bunch of a handful of teams that are rolling, and then everybody else is just 500.
Yep. Oh, man.
My only point is, how can you not replay the McCutchen call, but you can replay a home run call like that? Like, to be honest, it took me maybe 1 or 2 times to maybe realize that was off the railing, but that could have easily bounced off the freaking seat.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. And it's got to be an indecisive call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That is actually stupid.
It was just we got robbed out of that series against the Mets, and it killed us. It absolutely killed us. But yeah. Let's go back to the Eagles for a little bit, and then we'll transition into some Sixers Phillies talk. I think this season will come down to the fact if Sirianni – look, I think Sirianni is a great football mind. I think his goofiness brings a certain type of charisma to him, and I think the young coaching staff isn't going to be as big of a deal as everybody else is making it out to be. I think they're going to relate to the young players and to the veterans at a certain type of level that the coaching staff can do. I think Sirianni isn't going to be the problem this year. I think he's going to do his job. It really just depends on whether your quarterback can play well, whether your quarterback is developed. And I'm not taking anything away from Jalen Hurts. I like him as a football player.
It's going to be a weird year, Jimmy. It's really going to be a weird year. Like, you'll finally have Hurts in his starting or Flacco. But no, you'll have Hurts as his first starting year, new head coach. It's like a little bit of the same last year, but different.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got like new guys coming up. I want to be optimistic, but you really don't know.
Yeah. What's up, bro? I don't know. It depends on what people were saying. You got like a few veteran cornerbacks that are available. If you get the right one there, who knows what this defense can be. You still got Rodney McLeod, who's going to be coming off an ACL. Darius Slay, if he could step up against the great wide receivers in the league.
That would be nice.
Especially in the NFC East. I was trying to say this earlier. You had to go corner in the first round. You absolutely had to. And I know it didn't work out because they were taken 8 and 9 or whatever, 7 and 9, whatever it was. But you had to get that corner because you got guys that you're playing against: Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Scary Terry. You got all these guys that you have to. Kenny Galladay's now in the division.
Yeah.
Like all of these teams have a better wide receiving core and better quarterback depth.
Yep.
Like those are the positions that are very important in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you lack that. You absolutely lack that.
You do.
So.
I don't even know what to think about that. It's just gonna be a weird year. But like back to Dominic's comment, he thinks Sirianni is gonna hold coaches and players accountable. I don't know about that, honestly. I don't really know enough about him. I mean, he was what, like a offensive coordinator last year, and this year is a new coach. I feel like he'll give him maybe it'll take some time.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's like kind of a dork. Like I don't know if I can see him yelling at somebody. I feel like people just start laughing. Like all those weird. Like he's a weird guy, but like
he kind of reminds me of Dabo Sweeney. Only Dabo Sweeney is a little bit more well spoken to the media.
Yeah,
that's kind of what he reminds me of. Like I feel like the fact that just because he has a little trouble speaking in front of a Zoom camera, I think that shouldn't take away from his football mind and the fact that
of course not.
He could, whether he could coach a football team or not.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you're not signing up to get interviewed. You're signing up to be a football coach. Like that's honestly the most idiotic thing I've ever done, like ever seen, is that people are judging him because of how he talks in pressers and all that. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Greg, I finally got the comment that I was hoping for. You need a quarterback to exceed expectations, and you don't know what Jalen Hurts is going to be.
What?
So, I don't know. I will never get over this Carson Wentz trade. I will never get over it. The fact that you're paying another team for him to play football this year is just beyond me. Biggest dead caps hit in league history.
I don't want to show this. I don't want to show that. Jimmy's gonna have a fit.
Hey, I showed off my Colts Wentz over the big.
Oh yeah, mine's coming. Mine's coming soon. Mine's coming.
John's switching up all of a sudden. He was a Carson Wentz defender just like me. Not anywhere close to me, because I don't think really anybody is. But he was defending Carson Wentz throughout the whole thing, and he was saying that Hurts kind of was ass. So I don't know what you're saying, John.
I don't know. It's his first whole season. We'll see.
And there he goes. I love Wentz, but that's what he's going to say next.
He got thrown in the fire.
Tori, there's definitely a silent majority out there that still wishes Wentz was here and is still just disgusted at the fact what this organization has done. I'm just loud about it. And I know a lot more people feel the same exact way I do. They just don't want to portray it the way I do. Yeah, but you can still hate the organization. Like you could still love the Eagles, but you could hate the people that run it. That's the only thing. And the fact that Doug Peterson was allowed to run away without getting any hate, why did Carson Wentz run away and get hate about it? Like Doug basically did the same exact thing. We're still paying Doug this year. We're still paying Doug 2 years from now. So I don't know. The same old shit's going to keep on happening until Howie is out and Jeffrey looks himself in the mirror and realizes that this organization was successful when he was keeping his mouth shut when it came to football. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, he signed Alshon Jeffrey back then, and he thought he was invincible. I mean, it was a great signing, but after that 1 year, like
it was 1 year that brought us to Super Bowl, and it goes back to our second ever episode on Agree to Disagree Radio. Would you trade the Super Bowl if it meant that you got a decade of elite Carson Wentz, and a decade of elite Carson Wentz could have led to a better culture and could have led to more Super Bowls?
People just aren't willing to risk that, Jimmy. I don't know. Because, like, it was just the perfect year. It was just – I don't want to say it was lucky, but, I mean, the stars aligned. We fucking finally won a Super Bowl after 60-some years. So –
yeah, but that gave Howie a lifelong contract. So –
yeah.
What, are we just not going to win any more Super Bowls for 40 years? Because that's how long – at least 40 years.
Yeah.
30 years, 30, 35 years. All right.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't know what it has to take for him to actually get fired. I honestly don't know.
I mean, if Dickerson and Milton don't shape up and they're not in the rotation, will that get them fired?
No,
Especially that.
No, it won't, Jimmy, because you go and look back all these other drafts we had. He did not get in trouble for any of that. Taking number 19 over DK. We can speak about this all day. Like, he's done this before, and he hasn't, like, nothing's happened. And he can't even listen to his scouts. Like, I'm pretty sure the scouts did not tell him to draft J.J. Ortega-Whiteside.
This is
depressing. He thought he was the smartest in the room, and he drafted.
I'm depressed. I'm depressed because he's never going to leave. It doesn't matter. He will die in that office. That's what's going to happen. He will die of natural causes at 95 years old, still drafting.
It reminds me of if Jerry Jones was a GM. That just reminds me of what it is.
Well, look, at least the Cowboys got 4 or 5 rings during their dynasty. We got 1, and then we turned into their organization. 1. Damn, Ev. People shooting their shot for you again. That's crazy. That is crazy.
It's 2-0. 2-0.
The tying run is now on second base. They were literally up 4-1.
Oh, come on. How did you? Oh, jeez.
All right. Now that the I'm done with the Eagles. Yeah. There we go, John.
Oh, geez.
You literally let a dude named Vogelbach, who looks like he just got a double off of Hector Neighbors. If they blow this lead, that'll just be abysmal.
I don't even.
Yo, hype men and women in this chat right now.
I don't even know.
There we go. This is what everybody's reacted to.
No, I really think we actually pull off this game because that would make us 3 games out of first place. I mean, we were just in first like 3 days.
The Braves caught fire, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and it's probably gonna last because I haven't seen anything slowing down from them, and Acuna is still doing his thing. I mean, if we just won that game yesterday, we would have been 13? I would have been 14-15.
Yeah, we would have been 14. No, we would have been 500. We would have been 14-14.
Oh, okay, wow. Hey,
this is what the standings look like as of now. Oh, the Mets. No.
Are the Mets 1.5 game?
The Mets are 11-11. Washington is the team that caught fire. They won 4 straight. They're 12-12 now, and then we're 13-15. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's just talk about the Phillies because it's coming down to a nail biter when it shouldn't be. We have plenty more Eagles that we could talk to once June 1st hits. If we trade Zach Ertz, if we don't trade Zach Ertz, if we trade Brandon Brooks, if we don't, we'll see what happens with the Eagles. If there's preseason games, we'll be around for that. We'll obviously we'll obviously keep you posted about the Eagles. But let's turn our tables to the Phillies right now because the Mets series was just absolutely atrocious. You got Bryce back after being nailed in the face by a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. Didn't leave a mark, and he got right up.
Yeah, that was. I didn't get to actually witness that game. I watched the replays, but I don't think it was absolutely intentional. But you just don't do that. Like the pitcher should have been ejected. If you can't control the ball you're throwing, you shouldn't be in the game. Like I think that's just like common knowledge. Like if you would really want to protect the players, you would have tossed them. But you give warnings to both sides. Like and then Alvarado. I think Alvarado or somebody beams like Arenado like the game after.
Yeah. What's up, Chucks? Happy birthday, Chucks.
Happy birthday.
I hope you had a good one.
Yeah, I hope so.
From the Phlite Zone cast to yours. Bill's all over. I feel like Bill and I are kind of like the same type of fan. Like, we'll show all this negative.
Disagree on the Sixers or something like that before.
Yeah.
That's something on Ben. Of course it is, but
I don't know if he defends Ben the way I defend Ben. But he is like Mr. Negativity right in the moment, just kind of like I'm turning into. But then he'll say something like this, and this is definitely something I would say. Like even with all the negativity that I've said about the Eagles over the past 40 minutes, you still have a shot because there's quick turnarounds in the NFL. It's a 16, 17 game season. It's not – every game is precious. And when you have the veterans that we have some very great defensive talent that are old and offensive talent that are old. And I feel like those guys are going to show pride this year. They don't want to get embarrassed like they did last year. So there obviously is a shot. There's always a shot. And I think it's just a 50-50 shot this year. It depends on number one.
So I have a question for you. What are you doing Fletcher Cox next year if he doesn't you getting rid of him, you trade him?
No, he retires as an Eagle. He doesn't go anywhere else. He retires as an Eagle.
You wouldn't trade him though? At all?
I don't think you can trade that contract. I mean, unless you want to give up dead salary cap again. You want to give that up?
I mean, maybe you can.
Are you kidding me?
Maybe
you would have $30 million of dead cap. I'm behind on the Phillies game.
Yeah, I don't know.
People are saying stuff about Nair, so I guess we'll see what happens.
I need to watch I can't.
Neris was the guy that hit Arenado at Alvarado.
Yeah. We were talking so good on him at the beginning of the year, and he just
nervous?
Yeah.
Was I? Or was I still keeping up my same energy?
No, you don't like him. It's okay though. So it's okay. Let's see.
I have it right now 4-3. 1-2 count, 1 out. Man on second.
I think they just won.
Oh, they won? Okay.
I think or it's 2 outs. It might be. Yeah, I think it's 2 outs. Yeah, I think. I don't know. I'm so behind.
Yeah, I have the NBC Sports Philadelphia app on my Roku.
I'm just on this stupid little look like MLB show looking thing.
I could actually watch it. Like I'm watching it. I think I'm just like 30 seconds behind or something. Maybe like a little bit like that.
I'm sure the fans in the chat, especially my fan in the chat, will tell us if Hector Neris blows the game or not.
I mean, John's telling me, look at Neris, stop disrespecting him.
He definitely just got 2 out, man on second.
Well, Bill, that's the thing. All these contracts that we keep restructuring, we're going to have to pay them over the next 2 to 3 seasons. So I'm no salary cap wizard. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't. That's not what I do. But if you keep on restructuring the Brandon Graham contract, there you go.
We've been restructuring that for years.
Yeah.
We really have. We're going to owe him like the whole, like half the fucking salary.
Yeah.
By the time he's on his last year. And I hate doing that because you're just going to keep adding on the pay you're giving him, and who knows what's going to happen to him when he's – how many years does he have? Does he have 2 more years or a year?
He has 2 or 3.
Okay. Because I know –
No, 2.
2. All right. I mean –
Cox is 2 or 3.
You wouldn't trade Brandon Graham though, right? I know.
No, he retires as an Eagle.
Cox, right?
The only guy that you realistically could, should, and would trade is probably Brandon Brooks.
Okay.
You're never trading Kelsey. You're never trading Lane Johnson. I don't think you trade Fletcher Cox, and you're never trading Brandon Graham.
I do. If Brandon Graham does good after this year and the Eagles still blow, I feel like I'd trade him. Because like you're not going to trade him this year, I don't think, just because he just came off an injury. No one really knows what he's going to be like. But if he has a good season, you could probably get a 1st or 2nd round pick for him for a contending team at least.
Yeah, and then another thing we do have to consider is if we do have another 4 or 5, maybe even 6-win season, I think that would be on the quarterback. That would definitely be on Jalen Hurts. You've given him all of this. There's only 4 games of film on the kid.
Yep.
He has a healthy offensive line coming back. He has Zach Ertz as of right now. He has Dallas Goedert as of right now. He has a young stud at running back in Miles Sanders. You have a legit backup in the guy you just drafted.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yep.
And you have a first-round draft pick at wide receiver from last year. Like, you have guys.
Yep.
You have guys. You have a nice, young, youthful coach coming in with a quarterback-friendly offense, quarterback-friendly system. You should be running the ball. If you only win 4, 5, 6 games, you're packaging up all the picks that you've gotten from the Carson Wentz, from the Dolphins, to either A, get a Russell Wilson, a Deshaun Watson, or you trade up next year. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I want Hurts to pan out so badly so we don't have to like trade up to get a quarterback. Because I don't want to mortgage my future on that with this management. Like, I don't want to mortgage my future on another quarterback just because of how stupid Howie is, how stupid Laurie is. Like, people seem to forget like how dumb Laurie is too, because he's not firing him. Like, they're best buds, they're buddies. Like,
yeah, no,
he's just as bad with it because he's letting it happen, and no one within the organization wants Howie there.
No, that Super Bowl, I loved it, but it was the worst thing that ever happened to this organization.
I think
it really was.
The worst thing happened to the city of Philadelphia and the sports teams because we're so.
We've literally turned it into Dallas. We turned like our mentality turned into Dallas.
Mm-hmm. It did, and it's shitty to see.
Yeah. We'll just see this last strike. There's 2 outs. I have 2 outs, 2-2 count. Man on second. We're well up 1.
All right, dude. The chat's not talking. Did they hit a home run or something? Did they hit a 2-run run?
I don't know.
Oh no! Did he just walk him? Did he just walk him?
Yeah. It started off as an 0-2 count.
Oh my god, dude! I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna have a meltdown on the podcast. I might not be able to be on next week.
So I definitely think Kelsey and BG are going to be retiring over the next 2 seasons. I don't see them playing anywhere else. They're going to be in Midnight Green for the rest of their career.
Yeah, especially Kelsey. Yeah, I can see that. I really hope Kelsey, like, he probably won't, but like be like a coach, or just try to like get Dickerson to be like him. They're like kind of 2 different guys. Like, Dickerson is a lot bigger than Kelsey. Kelsey isn't that big, like, but he's quick and he's agile. So it's gonna be his farewell season this year, most definitely.
This comment. This is something else, Brian. What if he pulls a Dak and plays good, but they still lose? I think Dak Prescott is a stat patter. I think he gets all of his yardage in garbage time when the team is already down 3 touchdowns come the third quarter. That's why he averages 400 yards a game, because everybody's playing
offense. It's so good. They have a top. I don't want to say top 5 anymore. Top 10, top 8 running back. They have a decent offensive line, and they have one of the best wide receiving cores in the NFL.
They have the best wide receiving core in the NFL.
But it's just their defense. Just
before this year, they've had a top 3 offensive line. Before this year, they've had a top 3 running back. He's had all of this to work with, and he couldn't beat out Carson Wentz at a practice squad. Like, he's had all of that, dude.
Yeah.
And he's never made it past the second round of the playoffs.
Wow.
So
I mean,
I don't understand the Dak Prescott love.
The argument they had to us is Carson Wentz never won a playoff game.
Yeah, but Carson Wentz has a ring, right?
He does.
Carson Wentz has more rings than Jerry Jones in 25 years. Or 22 years. 24 years.
Something like that. Yeah, 24 years. Second pitch. Yo, are we losing yet?
I missed it. It's 1-1 right now. I missed that call.
Oh, it's 2-2 with 2 outs right now.
I got 1-1 with 2 outs. So we're just all over the place right now, aren't we?
Oh no. Oh no!
I want to see how this parlay is going because I accidentally chose Brewers money line instead of Phillies money line. Apparently,
Brewers by what 1.5 or the Phillies by what 1?
I had the Brewers plus 110. I thought it was the Phillies plus 110 because I just automatically assumed we were a dog.
We're not.
We were favored to go into this game.
Why? They're 7. we're not even. Oh my god, dude! Neris is 3-2 count, 2 outs.
Yep.
This dude's actually gonna walk this guy. He's probably gonna get. He's not gonna be able to pitch to the last batter. I mean, he's not close. He's not even close. On his 7th pitch, he would have hit a right-handed batter like right in the face. So he's got to go. He's got to go. Oh my gosh!
If he loads the bases here,
I'm just waiting to load the bases, and then somebody comes in and just
the way. Let's transition to Phillies. How would you grade Joe Gerardi over the past year of baseball plus this 1 month? What would you give him as a grade?
I'd probably give him a C, just because he failed. All right. So it is on the players just as it is on the coach. With like the worst relieving cast we've ever had, I think in the MLB almost. That really didn't help his cause. And it's really hard to see. Like, I'd rather see him under a pitching staff who's competent, who can actually strike out somebody and not bait. He just loaded the bases. Somebody doesn't bases when there's was there 2 outs and there's 2 outs.
And he had an 0-2 count.
And he had an 0-2 count and he still loaded the bases.
And now the bases are loaded.
Oh my god. How is his ERA only a 1.93?
He is on his 34th pitch. He hasn't walked long yet in my telecast. But
he's about to.
Yeah, everything you're saying about Gerardi, I feel like he's made some boneheaded decisions, especially over the past month. I know everybody last year was kind of like off of him just because we had the worst bullpen in baseball history.
Mm-hmm.
And baseball's been around for 200 years, maybe 300 years. And he literally had the worst bullpen ever because of Matt Klentak. That's what John was talking about. He wouldn't have been in that situation if he didn't blow an 0-2 count, though. Hector Nervous. Overrated.
Overrated? We're the lowest of the low.
I don't think anybody even like everybody knows that our bullpen is
Lord.
Anyway,
and the Mets are losing. The Mets are losing. So if we can somehow win this, I'm saying somehow because it's an 0-2 count right now. Oh. I disagree, Robert California. I think Dickerson I don't see that happening. He's primarily, isn't he a center? Because he's a center combo guard, right? Like he can
center guard.
I'd rather have Sumalo back there just because like he didn't really get to play under Hurts, but like I don't know. I feel was Dickerson there the same year Hurts was there? That might be the reason why he's saying that.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in school forever.
Yeah. I mean, it just really depends on how Sumalo. Like he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad at all. Like maybe you'll switch him over to like right guard if that was to happen.
Yeah, because then that means Brooks would be gone. And if you could trade Brooks' contract without having to pay anything, I think that would be smart. Just because Brandon Brooks is probably exactly like Landon Dickerson. You probably drafted a Brandon Brooks, and Brandon Brooks can never stay on the field.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you waste a second round pick on that. I don't think you do. Go on.
He did it. He did it. So like he's probably ecstatic right now. He's probably ecstatic. He probably shit his pants, but he's probably like cheering. Like, come on.
Well, if the Flyers ended up winning tonight, we'll probably get a 3-for-3 in the city.
Wow. First one in a while. How are the Sixers doing? I haven't really looked.
Last time I checked, they were up by like 14 at halftime.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna win. I mean, they've been hot recently, and it's a weird thing because I haven't watched them, in like 3 games. So yeah, they're up by 20 right now.
Yeah. Hector Nervous gave up 2 runs, right? On the 8th inning.
I think so. Actually, no.
Just enough. Just enough.
Spend a second on Brandon Brooks.
Yeah, it really depends on the contract. It depends on the contract because he's, I think, the highest paid guard in the league right now, if not second or third.
Yep.
So,
Definitely one.
the Sixers are up by 20 halfway through the third. So it seems like they got this against Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hector Nervous is good job. We're back to 500, right? Back to 500.
Oh Lord, I think so. I thought we were 1 game down from 500 for some reason.
Oh yeah, because we lost back to back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, we're 14 and 15 right now.
Yeah. So we'll get back to 500 tomorrow, and then we'll lose the next day because that's just what we've been teetering on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
See how Ben Simmons is doing this game, because I've kind of been all over the place today.
Seth Curry is lighting up this game. Dude, Seth Curry he's been decent. He's been really decent.
Ben Simmons is shooting 100% from the field.
Was he 1 for 1?
5 for 5, you freaking hater.
I mean, that makes up for what? 1 and 7 or something already had last game.
All I know is last game he took 2 defensive charges in overtime and got the game-winning shot.
I mean, that was a game you should have not even been sent to overtime. I mean, Ben scored more than 5 points.
Well,
it would have been a little bit easier just to not go to overtime.
He is in double digits in the third quarter, and he's shooting 100% from the field. So,
and I bet it was all like little tap-ins like you had last night, right?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Dude, somebody tried to fight me in the ATD, like in one of the comment section. They're saying like I was explaining the next LeBron only scored 5 points, and everyone's talking about Tobias Harris. But at the end of the day, Tobias Harris isn't an all-star, and he's not a generational talent like Ben is supposed to be.
Well, yeah, you saw that when Ben was out. We lost 4 straight games because Tobias couldn't step it up. Right? Like,
nah.
Like your MVP and Tobias Harris was in. That should be more than enough. You shouldn't have lost 4 games in a row. And then right when Ben comes back, what? You're magically on a 5-game win streak again? What does that tell you about Ben Simmons? You can hate on him all you want. He brings a certain mentality, a certain juice to the court that nobody else on this team can bring, and that very little people can bring in this league.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why they stayed in first place while Joe was out taking care of his boo-boo on his knee.
Yeah, because of Tobias Harris. It wasn't because of Ben. Ben had less than 10 points in some of those games.
What happened 2 weeks ago when Ben was out for 4 straight days because of an illness?
It doesn't even matter,
They
Jimmy.
lost 4 games in a row. And then when he comes back, they're on their way to 5 games in a row now?
You played good-ass teams.
Okay.
They didn't play that great.
Winning 5 games in a row in the NBA is a tough thing to do.
You were playing the Timberwolves when JoJo was out. And Jimmy
was out for how many games?
He couldn't score more than 10 points.
JoJo was out for how many games?
Shouldn't have made the All-Star team. That was back when he was trying to make his case for the All-Star. That was back when he was trying to make the case for the All-Star game.
JoJo was out for a whole month.
He was trying to make his case.
We stayed in the number 1 seed.
He turned it up because he wanted to be an All-Star, but now he's sleeping. He's sleeping.
Now we got the haters out.
It's true.
This guy's realistic. Robert California's realistic. He says the team sucked when Ben was out. He helps our offense a ton with spacing. Yeah. Why do you think Seth Curry's having such a game tonight? Why did Seth Curry have any of these games in the 4-game losing streak when Ben was out?
That's not a valid argument, Jamie. Just because he had the few games in the beginning of the season, but
how about this comment?
He's just all right. We needed to keep him, and that's what it had to take to keep him.
We could have eliminated Brett Brown and kept Jimmy Butler.
No, he wasn't going to stay. He didn't want to stay.
Jimmy and Ben would have been great together.
He did not want to stay. He didn't want to stay. He wanted to go to Miami. He did not want to stay in Philadelphia.
He liked Joe.
he liked Joe, but he also likes the Miami beaches. So
okay, you can
and
go
there
to
he went.
Miami beaches.
And there he went.
You make 9 figures. You could go to the Miami beaches.
No, apparently not. I was watching his documentary. He did not consider Philly, dude. It was a small considerment, and we weren't going to pay him. We were going to pay him as much as Tobias, if not more. But you needed to keep Tobias, and that's the money because there's no other player that year that you could have realistically got. What do you think? What do you think about Kawhi Leonard? Like, what would you do with that? Would you even try
to try and get Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah, would you try?
Oh.
Just a little sign and trade.
Well, you're letting go of Ben if that happens.
Bye. See ya.
Kawhi's I don't think Kawhi would want to come to Philly though. Like he would cry and cry and cry until he went back to a warm spot. That's what he did. That's what he did with San Antonio.
I mean, if it was really like that, like he doesn't plan on re-signing or he wants to get traded. So I don't know where the hell he wanted to be traded to. Maybe like the Warriors or something like that. But come on, Kawhi would be different on our team. Kawhi would be different on our team, Jimmy.
John, what he was trying to say is I don't think he was trying to say spacing as much as he was trying to say he makes the players around him better on the offensive side of the ball. And I never said no to this. I was getting my thoughts together because Kawhi Leonard is probably one of the few players that I would trade for Ben Simmons. It's clear that him and Joel Embiid would be a dynasty.
Yeah,
Kawhi and Joe. But I don't want Kawhi being traded here just for him to run his way out of town like he did in Toronto. It'd be a similar situation like the Eagles. You win the Super Bowl for 1 year, and then what happens? Like what happened to Toronto?
I mean, nobody really wants to play.
Yeah. If you want me to say it, just so that everybody knows that I'm unbiased, yes, Kawhi is planets better than Ben Simmons right now.
I never thought I'd hear that.
Right now.
This needs to get clipped, dude.
But if Ben gets that jumper that everybody's hoping for, who knows?
Saying this for years, man. I don't see it happening. Or maybe he'll magically turn it on, like you said in the playoffs. We'll see. He'll magically turn into like his freshman year in the NBA and just start taking jumpers. Then he'll break his foot. So
watch him drive the ball to the basket and suck the whole defense with him, then kick it out to wide open threes like 20 times a game. What do you mean he does in space? So like I feel like the textbook definition of spacing in basketball is
being able to create your own shot and
if you're a great 3-point shot, if you have a great 3-point shot, that's how you space the floor. The thing that Ben does is he finds the open space. Yeah. He's not necessarily a spacer.
Yeah, he does that little. He does that little, and then he like turns back and throws to someone behind him.
Yeah, he finds it like no other person in the league.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like when he doesn't have the ball, Jimmy, like what is he gonna do? If he doesn't have the ball with him, what the hell is he gonna do?
I don't know. I don't know.
And you're trying to like say to me like you wouldn't take all these other point guards over Simmons.
No,
but they can create a 3-point shot. They can actually.
Yeah, but they don't play defense like Ben Simmons. Kawhi Leonard plays defense like Ben Simmons. Devin Booker doesn't play defense.
Would you have Kawhi playing your point guard pretty much?
I mean, you'd probably have a veteran like George Hill if this were to happen. Just a guy like that. But
what's that? Wow. That would be great if we were
that'll never happen though. Kawhi wants to stay out in LA. And if not, he'll go to like Miami or something. Or he'll go to like Dallas maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. There was rumors about him going to like
Golden State.
Knicks.
I don't think he'd want to come Eh,
I think big market in New York. I don't know what the big appeal is there because the Knicks always exceed or they don't exceed expectations, just like any Philly team
yeah,
usually. So I can see what you're saying though, like wanting to stay in like where he lives or where he grew up, but like he was saying that he wasn't like happy on the Clippers. So I don't know if that's like a little thing for LeBron to like come up and swoop him up or something, like try to swoop him up with their new cap money.
yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation, but
What do you think about the play-in tournament and LeBron's comments on that?
I think anything. Let me be careful what I say. I don't understand why anybody would think it's a bad idea. First of all, it's the great marketing. It'll make money for the NBA, and it makes games interesting.
Yep.
Like you have teams in the 7 through 10 seed that could give headaches to number 1 seeds. Like are the Utah Jazz like a lock to just have a 4-game sweep? I don't think so. I don't think they have a legitimate star on that team.
Yep.
LeBron is always pitching. Yes, that's like he gets every single call. I think that the fake little championship that he had in LA was just a
Mickey Mouse championship.
It was just such a disgrace. The season should have never kept on happening. Like home court advantage is just like no other in the NBA playoffs, and I don't know.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And like he's had comments before when they were talking about the play-in tournament last year when it was in the bubble. He's like, yeah, like let them fight it out. Yeah. Let them fight it out. Like, but now since you're soft and you get to sit out, you and your boy AD get to sit out, and now you're the 7th seed. Yeah, come on, you're soft.
Yeah, and this is true, John. They might get to that 7th seed, and they might actually lose, and they won't be in the playoffs. And I'm sorry, Ralph.
I really think this play-in tournament was more implemented towards teams in the West because if you really look at the standings the last few years, there's been teams that missed out on the playoffs by like half a game.
Yeah, like the Suns last year when they were on a roll in the bubble.
Yeah, and like
they ended up not making the playoffs.
Didn't Portland miss out too last year?
Yeah,
they missed out. Like it was for teams like that.
I think they were the A seed. They were the A seed.
Who suffer injuries all year and can't make it. Like any team in the West would be not any team, but like a top 8 team in the West would be probably a top 4 team in the East, depending on who you look at. So,
and I loved LeBron. I loved LeBron in his second stint in Cleveland, and then he decided to get weird and just try and build his own team, and that's when I just started to just,
Ballroom ballers in the bubble ain't doing anything this year.
Dude, Matisse in the corner, bro. If Matisse gets that 3-point shot up to 36, 38%, 40%, he will be a problem.
Oh, my God, yeah. That's like baby Kawhi, honestly.
If he could get his offensive game like Kawhi, that would be insane.
He just needs a bulk up. He needs a bulk. I mean, he's kind of slim, but if he bulks up and develops a shot. Michael Porter, what you think about that? They're the team player. They're the team player besides MPJ has a shot.
MPJ can't make space or can't find the space like Ben does, and he clearly does not play defense like Ben does, and it's not even close. Like this is a hating comment.
We're saying Matisse Thybulle can be. Yeah.
I wasn't saying it. You said it.
No. You gotta listen though, like because he's arguably. I'd say arguably just as good as Kawhi on defense. This year, at least. Well, I mean, he's only been in the league for 2 years, and he's already solidified his defensive role and is already one of the best defenders, perimeter defensive players in the league. But, I mean, Kawhi does have that interior defense that he can go up and block people, but his offense is nowhere near Kawhi's offensive play right now.
It's not even close.
Yeah. I'll probably say that, and he'll go like airball 3 or something. So or hit the side.
But yeah, I have seen recently that Matisse Thybulle's 3-point shot is slowly but surely starting to trend in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Damn, John, you're not gonna give the man a chance. If he develops a shot, like your Pacers are gonna be sorry. I mean, they're sorry, but
they're just as the Pacers kind of remind me of the Eagles organization. They blame everything on injuries, but at the end of the day, are your players that good? That's really what it comes down to.
Give us back TJ, bro. Give us back TJ.
Yeah, I would like that. Yeah, thanks, Jake. Jamie, glad to see you stick to your guns. The other night, talking about how he botched the draft with Tom. He didn't want to admit after the first round how he botched the draft. Yeah, if this draft class is yet another, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, another Sidney Jones, another Donnell Pumphrey.
Oh my god!
You want me to keep going?
You're just hitting me with shots.
Like if it's another one of those where your second, third, and fourth round picks aren't contributing to the team, you got to go. That's 4 straight years, dude. I mean, I know Miles was a second round pick, but Derek Barnett, he was your first round pick. Andre Dillard, he was your first round pick. You haven't drafted a Pro Bowler since Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. About the Sixers tanking?
I did not like the process. I hate tanking. There's like a certain skeeve to it. I especially don't like it in football because you literally only play 16 games. If you can't field a good team for 16 games, you have something wrong with you. Like I can understand with baseball where you play 162 or hockey where you play 82 or basketball when you play 82. But when you play 16 games, now 17, there's no reason why you should be tanking.
Nope. But I mean, the Sixers, they were really bad. I mean, yeah, they probably would have won a few more games than 10, but their team wasn't that great once you look back at the roster.
John, the only thing we're saying is the Pacers is like they've never really been good. They don't have superstars. Yeah. Like you need superstars to win in this league, and nobody wants to play for Indiana.
So their last star was what? It was Paul George?
Like, the Pacers are built and have always been built of
mediocrity.
Above average role players. And if you put above average role players all on the same team, you'll get a first, second, third, fourth seed in the regular season. And then your true colors will show in the playoffs. It's what happened to the Hawks when they had Paul Millsap, Coach Budenholzer was coaching them. They had Al Horford. They had all those guys, and they could never beat LeBron.
Yeah.
It's a superstar league, and no superstar will ever go to the Pacers. So I think it's time for you to just stick with Paul George.
I mean,
I'm not saying that you haven't made it to 2 Eastern Conference Finals, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is Finals appearances. I'm not going to brag over Eastern Conference Finals appearances, bro. Like,
I mean, the Eagles had 4 conference. Yeah, no one cares about that.
I mean, Eagles fans do, especially now that we won the Super Bowl.
I don't care about no conference championship. I only care about the Super Bowl. Honestly.
That's what all the McNabb and Andy Reid lovers will talk about.
That was their best moments, Jimmy. That was draft this year. You're
gonna get a superstar in the draft just for after 5 years.
You just got to tank right. I know you hate tanking, but like at the end of the day, that's what's gonna work for a team. If you guys go like,
if you draft the right way and sign the right players. Believe it or not, you'll be a successful organization.
I mean, it's not helping the Pacers' cause because they live in literal nowhere. So,
all right, enough with the Pacers talk. This is the Phlite Zone. I don't want to talk about any other team from Indiana except for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, of course. Oh,
but you're not getting Cade Cunningham, bro. Cade's going number 1. You're not getting the first overall pick. But Cade on the Pacers with that team, that would look sick. I'm not gonna lie, that would look pretty solid. But you still wouldn't beat the Bucks, Nets, or Sixers, especially if you have the same exact rosters with Giannis and then Joel and Ben and Tobias.
What do you think that would look like if Kawhi went to the Knicks?
I think that looked like a pretty scary thing.
I think they'd be just as good as like the Bucks.
Well, yeah, they're already the best defensive team in the league statistically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It'd be scary to be a Sixers fan because then you got to go through the Nets, Celtics when they bounce back, because I think they will. Jaylen Brown and Tatum are young. They'll put pieces around them.
Yep.
You never know what Nick Nurse can do at Toronto. He's a pretty solid coach if they can get somebody. But winning in the NBA consists of being able to build a super team, being able to get a superstar rental, or doing what very few teams can do, and that's what the Sixers did.
Yep.
Tank.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really look at it, the Sixers have really only been the only successful team that has tanked. The Knicks have been doing it for years, and they're finally starting to bounce back. But
none of their draft pieces have
like RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett's the only one that's really like Kevin Knox isn't doing anything.
Nope. I remember I wanted to draft him badly, but I mean, it's just when you look at it, it's just the development of that team. I feel like Brett Brown was a good development coach, but he wasn't a championship coach in no means whatsoever. So
I don't know. They seem to be our kryptonite, Bill or William. Bill, you switching over? Yeah, they Celtics seem to be our kryptonite, but as long as Joe's healthy, Tobias is dropping 20 a game, and Ben's doing what Ben does, there's no reason why we shouldn't beat the Celtics in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I agree.
No reason why. The interesting one would be our second round opponent, because that could be anybody from the Bucks to the Knicks to the Heat. Which one concerns you the most? Like I feel like the easy answer would be the Bucks, but I think if Joe and Ben, they're all healthy through the 7-game series, I think it'd be pretty easy to shut down Giannis. Like,
yeah,
everybody has the blueprint on how to beat the Bucks in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm gonna go on a stretch and say the Bucks. I'd rather play the Bucks than the Heat. The Heat. Yeah. No, like the Heat are heating up. Like, no pun intended, but like they've been hot recently, and like just the fact that they kind of remind me of the Celtics from a few years ago when they didn't have when Kyrie was hurt. They were just they're still a complete team. Like once you have Dragic coming off the bench and you have all those other pieces, if they're hitting their shots, like you have to just guard so many people. But with the Bucks, like if you lock down Giannis, game's over.
Yeah, not even close either.
I mean, it was
Drew Holiday does give them an element that Eric Bledsoe and George Hill hasn't been able to give them before.
Nope.
But I don't think Drew has ever proven to be that type of player if Giannis gets shut down.
Yeah, no. He's not like a superstar like that.
Because you could easily throw Joe all over Giannis and then put Ben on Holiday. And then you'd have to worry about Chris Middleton, but he's proven to be inconsistent in playoffs as well. So
I feel like Harris and Middleton may like cancel each other out.
Hopefully.
Kind of like similar.
Hopefully if Harris keeps it up. I'm hoping Harris keeps it up, but
your boy Ben on the offensive side. It's not Harris.
I mean, we are going to be on a 5-game win streak after tonight, so
thanks to Joel and Ben's little tap in that you have at fingertips.
But why couldn't Joe win 4 games when
they played better teams than Ben did when Joe was out.
Joe was out for a whole month.
I know, but they played
And they still stayed in first place, and they never went on a 4-game losing streak.
Nah, bro. Nah.
They've only been on one 4-game losing streak this year, and that's when Ben Simmons was out and Joe was in. So, I correct me if I'm wrong. Joe may have been out one of those games, so it was probably only Tobias. I don't remember for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But all I know is Ben Simmons was out for 4 straight games, and they lost all 4 of them.
We'll see in the playoffs, Jimmy.
Let's agree on this.
We'll get traded. We'll see.
Let's agree on this. They are borderline unstoppable when Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are on the court together this year.
Borderline. Yeah. Just borderline.
I'm not talking about any other year. I'm talking about this year.
Yeah.
When both of them play together.
I agree. As any team would be with all their starters, like the Nets. So.
Well, the Nets haven't played with each other ever. So.
Yeah.
The Nets are an interesting case. I don't know what's going to happen with them. We'll see what happens. I think the season has about 7 or 8 games left, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll start discussing playoff talk.
Yep.
Which I am very excited for. I'm so excited for this first round.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for meaningful basketball. I'm hoping that we could get over the hump and at least make it out of the second round this year.
Mm-hmm.
Which we can't put it past them.
Mm-hmm.
Who's got the best jersey in Philadelphia sports?
Say the Union. The Union.
Nah, I like this. A lot of the Sixers like City Edition, the Earned It series, all their like alternate jerseys are pretty cool. But some of the Flyer sweaters are pretty cool. But I do like the when we go all black with the Eagles. Those jerseys are pretty fire. I do like the whiteouts too, where they're all white, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't really know either. I mean, it'd be cool if we can bring back like the Kelly Greens for like a few games, but like then they're not about it because of like some helmet issue. So
yeah, because you can't have more than one. You could only have the same helmet throughout the whole season.
It's stupid.
I think Sixers have like the best like wardrobe of jerseys per se.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of basic. I mean, the Phillies have been the same for the last like 100 years of their existence. So, I mean, when they wear like the jerseys like these, when they wear these, I like these a lot. Like the
powder blue.
Yeah. So
it is now a 10-point game with 9 minutes left. Matisse, 13-point game.
Wow.
All right. What do you think of how, if we were to get the Knicks in the second round, would you be concerned with their defense and how they play?
That's a good question. I don't really think so, just because their lack of experience in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Also, like how young their team really is. Especially, I mean, that's another thing to it that has the advantage that they do have younger guys, and like you can take a team to 7 games, but if they can lock them down early on offense and we can get some scores on on our offense side, I think we'll be fine. I think it might be like a 6-5 or 6-6 or something like that. I don't think a sweep necessarily, because you always have that one bad game by one of either Ben. I mean, you'll have a lot of bad games by Ben, but like Harris.
I think
it really depends on Harris, Curry, Green. I feel like.
Yeah, if they hit their shots, then we're fine.
Yeah,
but I think you said it. It may have been you a couple weeks ago. It may have been John. One of you said that they remind you of that Miami Heat team that we won against in that playoff series. They're like,
gritty.
Yeah. The like grit that they had with them, with the James Johnson or whatever.
Yeah,
you had all those guys.
They had the vets and the young guys. Like they have a pretty good match, but I don't know if they have enough offensive power to outpower the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have anybody really to guard
Embiid.
And if Randall, like if you can shut down Randall,
Yeah,
it's over.
Mhm.
So
yeah, I don't see the Knicks really being a big problem. I don't want people to overreact to that. I think our biggest problem will be the Heat.
yeah,
Besides the Nets, of course. The Nets obviously will be the biggest problem, I guess. But
but I mean, if
I wouldn't put it past the Heat.
plays like he always does against Randall, because he had like a chip on his shoulder the last few games they played. Like they went at each other. They had like both 30-point games. So
Yeah.
I think that'll be, if Harris can carry that on to the playoffs, I think that'll be important. And then going right from there, take it to the next series.
Yeah.
Just have that chip on your shoulder. Like they have to be tired of losing in the first and second round. They gotta get over that hump.
Yeah. Rob just asked, do they put Simmons on Randall or Barrett? I think it'll just be a rotation.
Yeah.
They'll keep throwing bodies at people. Ben will probably be defending Randall down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Really depends on who's hot and who's cold. But
I mean, I trust Matisse coming out and going Barrett.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Matisse is one of those guys, like he can guard realistically, not in the post. He can guard 1 through 5. Like maybe not in the post necessarily, but maybe 1 through 4. Because he's just so quick and
he could guard their stretch fours.
Yeah.
That can make their own shot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. All right, we'll see. We'll be back. We'll definitely be back. I'm in the middle of a move right now, so everything's hectic. I know I've been on like 4 different backgrounds over the past like 5 shows I've been on. I've been going through a little bit of a move. We'll see what happens with the Sixers game. Hopefully they come out on top. Edward's saying it's a 4-point game. We'll see what happens. We'll pray for a Sixers win. We will be back next Monday. Thank you so much, Evan. We will we'll obviously keep talking Phillies as they go into the second week in May. We'll see. I think Sixers will be close to the playoffs by then. And we'll continue to talk about these Eagles draft picks. See what happens. Have a great night, guys.